The transfer window can be a cruel teacher. Every summer, players convince themselves that leaving for supposedly bigger and better things is the answer to their problems. They force moves, burn bridges, and chase dreams painted in neon lights. Then reality hits. Sometimes the grass isn't greener on the other side, it's just a different shade of brown. These are 7 players who thought they were upgrading, only to discover they'd made a catastrophic miscalculation. Alexander Isak's story should have been a fairy tale. After years of being Newcastle's talisman, their Swedish goal-scoring machine, he got his wish, a British record move to Liverpool for £125 million. He'd gone on strike to force the exit, believing that Anfield was his destiny, that Arne Slot's system would unlock an even higher level. Instead, he walked into a nightmare. The striker who tormented Premier League defences with over 20 goals the previous season suddenly looked ordinary. He missed pre-season entirely due to the transfer saga, meaning he was playing catch-up. 3 goals in 16 appearances before disaster struck in December. Against Tottenham, he finally scored his first league goal for Liverpool, but Mickey van der Ven's challenge left him with a fractured fibula and ankle injuries. Surgery followed and months on the sidelines. Meanwhile, Hugo Ekitike was outshining him. The Frenchman already has 14 goals while Isak watched from the treatment room. Slot admitted Liverpool hadn't seen the best version of their record signing yet, and you have to wonder if they ever will. Isak left a team built around him to join a system that wasn't. So far, it seems like karma. Speaking of karma, few transfers this season have backfired quite like Garnacho's move to Chelsea. The Argentine winger had everything at Manchester United, a connection with the fans, regular minutes, and a stage to showcase his talent. But that wasn't enough. After clashing with Ruben Amorim following the Europa League final, Garnacho was frozen out, placed in United's infamous bomb squad, and eventually got his move to Stamford Bridge. He thought he'd found his perfect platform. Instead, he found a rotation nightmare. Chelsea's crowded forward line meant Garnacho became just another option, competing with Jamie Gittins and Pedro Neto for scraps. Maresca and now Rosenior's structured systems demanded discipline Garnacho doesn't naturally possess. He thrives in chaos, in transitions, in emotional momentum. Chelsea's methodical build-up has left him isolated and ineffective. After 1 goal in 16 league appearances, questions are already being asked, especially after that nightmare against West Ham. Meanwhile, back at Old Trafford, United reinvested in Brian Mbeumo and Matthias Cunha. Their attack looks sharper, more direct, more clinical. Garnacho wanted to be the main character, now he's barely in the movie. PSG made a bold call last summer. They chose not to renew Gianluigi Donnarumma, instead signing Lucas Chevalier from Lille. The logic made sense on paper. Chevalier was younger, better with his feet, more suited to Luis Enrique's possession-based philosophy. But Donnarumma had just won the Champions League with PSG and was widely considered the best keeper in the world. Let's not even mention that he was only 26 at the time, and they let him walk for only £26 million to Manchester City. The contrast has been stark. Donnarumma settled immediately at the Etihad, providing the commanding presence Pep Guardiola's defence desperately needed after Ederson's departure. He's looked elite, authoritative, worth every penny. Chevalier. He's struggled with the weight of expectation. Shot-stopping consistency has been an issue. Commanding his box has been an issue. He's even been dropped at times, with PSG fans openly pining for Donnarumma's return. PSG chose potential over proven quality and are paying the price. They downgraded and tried to convince themselves otherwise. Liam Delap's Chelsea move tells a different but equally brutal story. At Ipswich, he'd been the focal point, the main man, the player everything ran through. 12 goals in 37 Premier League games, top scorer for a relegated side, nominated for Young Player of the Year. Chelsea paid £30 million and handed him a contract until 2031. Then, João Pedro arrived from Brighton. Suddenly, Delap was Plan B. The hierarchy shifted, an early injury didn't help, and when he returned he found himself fighting for minutes rather than owning them. He thrives on directness, physical duels, balls played to feet in the channel. Chelsea want fluid, interchanging forwards who can drop deep and build play. The tactical mismatch is glaring. 7 games, 1 goal, and already whispers of loan moves are being reported. He left being the main man to become an afterthought. That's a tough lesson for a 22-year-old to learn. Yoane Wissa believed Newcastle represented a step up. After years of excellence at Brentford, including 19 goals last season that made him 6th in the Golden Boot race, he agitated for a move. He wanted Champions League football, a bigger platform, validation. He forced the issue on deadline day with a public Instagram statement, driving through the night from London to Tyneside to complete his £55 million transfer. The number 9 shirt was his. The promise was clear, except Brentford are currently higher in the table than Newcastle. They replaced him efficiently, barely missed a beat, and look as dangerous as ever under their new manager. Meanwhile, Wissa has become a rotation option at St James's Park, sharing minutes with Waltermaid in a struggling attack. The European nights he craved have come, but they've been more burden than blessing for a Newcastle side that's looked disjointed. He thought he was upgrading. The league table says otherwise. Randall Kolo Muani's Tottenham loan was supposed to be a fresh start. After being frozen out at PSG, he'd rediscovered form at Juventus. 10 goals in 22 games proved he could still deliver. Spurs offered Premier League football, Champions League nights, and a chance to rebuild his reputation. Instead, he walked into a relegation battle. Tottenham's season has been disastrous, sitting very close to the drop zone, and Kolo Muani has just 1 goal in 19 league appearances. The jaw fracture he suffered against Manchester United in November disrupted any momentum, and he's looked disconnected ever since. His physicality hasn't translated, his finishing has deserted him, and rather than reviving his career, he's further damaging his market value. PSG are probably relieved he's someone else's problem now. This was meant to be his chance to prove everyone wrong. Instead, he's proving them right. Finally, Anthony Elanga's £55 million move to Newcastle was supposed to complete their devastating attack. After an outstanding season at Nottingham Forest, 6 goals and 11 assists, more assists than almost anyone in the league, he was earmarked as the perfect partner for Alexander Isak and Anthony Gordon. Eddie Howe spoke glowingly about his pace, energy and work rate. But Newcastle are struggling, and Elanga hasn't been the transformative figure they expected. While he excelled in Forest's direct system with plenty of space to attack, Newcastle now face more low blocks, more compact defences, more games where his biggest weapon, that explosive running in open field, is neutered. His final ball has been inconsistent, his decision-making in tight spaces questionable. The big fee brings big expectations, and so far, he's been an expensive question mark rather than an answer. These stories share similarities. Players convinced themselves that leaving was the solution without considering whether what they were running toward was actually better than what they were running from. Who do you think will turn things around first? Let us know in the comments. Remember to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel. Also, be sure to turn on post notifications so that you never miss out on any new videos. Catch you in the next one. Bye.
Look, I'll be honest, we're swamped. The World Cup hype is real and Goal90 shop is officially at capacity. If you ordered this week, please bear with us for a 2-week processing delay. It's a good problem to have, but we are working around the clock to get your gear out. Thank you for your massive support.